guys and gals, how we doing? It's me, Joe Sayers, here for the Music Factory Studios. I just wanted to show you guys something really quick because a few people have asked how I do voiceovers when I don't record live on my videos. Now, most of the time, I just plug in to my audio interface and just do my screen recordings and talk while I'm doing those screen recordings. That's easier for me to do than to do this voiceover dance kind of thing, because it's just harder for me. I don't do well when I have to do it after, if I do things on the fly, I'm more likely to be more spontaneous. I don't really stress over what I say and things of that nature. But when I have to do a voiceover, this is how I do it, okay? So what you're looking at here is Logic Pro X. This is the main digital audio workstation from Apple. It's powerful. It also has video playback. Now, if you're on Linux and solely on Linux and you use no other operating systems, you can also do this in Ardour, but you can also do it in Harrison Mixbus. Now, Harrison Mixbus is a proprietary software. This is true. But every functionality that Harrison Mixbus has, Ardour also has, because Harrison Mixbus is basically Ardour with some DSP, EQs, and things kind of stacked inside of Ardour, which is really nice. But basically what I do, my workflow is this. I'll bring in the video file that I recorded. So what I did here was I couldn't get audio to work in the beta version of Ubuntu Budgie. It wouldn't work correctly for me. So on Logic Pro, all I have to do is literally drag and drop, and it gives me the video file up here, as you can see, going across the timeline from left to right, just like you read a book. And it lets me have a little window here that I can look at the screen recording, as well as I'm going to turn my fan on here if you don't mind. You won't hear it, so it doesn't matter. But I go ahead and I stack my music on different tracks. That way I can control the level of each song, even though they're different. That way, if one's a little bit louder, and I don't have to worry about that thing that happens when you do it in some video editing software where you do your audio tracks, and it's hard to control without having to split them, and the pops and clicks that happen between songs or where the splits are in the audio. So this just makes it easier. This isn't really an issue inside of Logic because I've already got a split here. Okay, I've got a split right here, and the good thing is it doesn't really pop when that happens inside of Logic Pro. So the beginning of the video is going to be sort of like this. And where that went down in volume is where I will start to speak. Now, there's no fades needed really in Logic, but you can just simply do this. And it works exactly the same way in Ardour. So I know a lot of video editors use like Audacity, but Audacity really isn't the best audio editor for video. You could drag in the video and do your voiceover like this and do your editing. So once I've done that and I've got all my music tracks, I take those music tracks, okay? They're here on channels 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I've taken those tracks and put them on a bus. And what a bus does is it just think about riding a school bus or, your regular bus that goes around your town. We don't have those in my town, so that's just abnormal for me. But basically what it does, it takes the audio and buses it over here to bus 1. So all the audio that's playing can be controlled by one fader. That way, no matter what song or, which song I'm on, the same level can be set for an overall volume without affecting my voiceover, which is on channel 2 here, which is really nice. So that makes it easier to set those all together. So my overall volume for audio will be right here. Whereas each individual track has a fader that I can turn up or down and adjust those as I need them. So that's really, really nice. Ardor has this same option. Plus, you can also go in for your voiceover, okay, and add plugins. Ardor has a bajillion plugins built in, EQs, compressors. Plus, there are numerous LV2 and like Linux VSTs. I'm not sure about FreeBSD and how Ardor works on FreeBSD, but I wouldn't think it would be that much different from something like, you know, Ubuntu Studio or Solus or something. But if you wanted to, you could add, you know, an EQ. Let's say EQ your vocal or your voiceover. You could also, the first thing I would add, if I'm just plugging my mic into like an audio interface or it's a USB microphone, the first thing I would do is look for a gate. I would set that gate, and all the gate does is shut the audio off when you're not speaking, so you don't get any background noise. It kind of cuts it off. There is also something known as an expander, which does the same thing. It just doesn't do it. It doesn't clamp down as hard. It does it on what's called a soft knee, so it's done a little easier. And you can add an EQ, a compressor, and then at the main end, you can take something like the, a meter and check your metering and see if you're too loud. YouTube likes you to be at -12 LUFS. So one of the best things about Logic is you have these loudness meters, which lets you look at the LUFS level, and you can set the bar here to -12, and you can see if you go over that bar or you're under it. You want to be right at the bar. You don't want to be over it because YouTube will turn you down. Okay, if you're under it, YouTube's not going to turn you up. So if you're way down here like -24, you're not going to really be there, and YouTube's not going to help. But if you're too loud, they're going to turn you down drastically. Okay, so it's best to try to get there as close as possible. Peak, and the reason I opened this was peak and VU meters aren't really helpful for determining loudness units or LUFS. You really need a meter that will give you that readout for LUFS. There's a couple open source LUFS and just metering plugins in general. I don't have any installed on here, but they're out there and they work fine. There's one, I cannot think of the name of it right now, but if I do, I'll post it in the comments, or I'll post it in the comments and pin it. But you want to try to hit -12 LUFS. Now, how do I know it's -12 LUFS? Well, number one, Google said it's -12 for YouTube. Number two, if you right click on a YouTube video and click on Stats for Nerds, where it shows the audio, it'll usually say Opus next to it, and like -256 or something. Next to that, it'll show the LUFS, which is supposed to be -12. And if you're above it, it tries to pull you down to -12 as best as possible. Kind of like Replay Game works on Spotify or iTunes. So that's something you got to keep in mind, because if you're too low, you're just way lower than everything else. And if you're too loud, you're going to be turned down drastically. So try to hit that target as best as possible. Now, if you're editing your videos on Windows, a great meter that I think is really handy is the Tone Boosters EBU Loudness V3 meter. It can show you the LUFS at different levels, and it's a really handy meter. I think it's like $9. There's a compact version as well. If you're using something like Pro Tools, I can't remember if Pro Tools has one built in or not, just to be honest with you. Waves also has one known as the WLM meter. This can give you a readout of LUFS as well. I just use the one in Logic because it's really simple to use. As you can see here, you can make it vertical or horizontal, and all of that works. It just looks like this. Now, you don't want your music up to minus 12 LUFS. You want your voiceover to be around minus 12 LUFS. So now you can have it also check and see where your integrated loudness range is. I'm right now with my background music at minus 34. If I turn it up to where it's supposed to be, let's see how loud we are. I'm about minus 20, so that's going to be good because my voiceover is going to be about minus 12. So that's my workflow. When I do the voiceovers like this, I basically just play the video and talk as I normally would. And, you know, it lets me edit some of the things out that I normally wouldn't edit out, but hey, it works. It's how I've been doing things, and I thought I'd let everybody know. But if you're looking for an easy way to do voiceover, Logic is really a great option. It can play back video, no problems, no stuttering, you know, none of those issues. HEVC, H.264, ProRes, any of those things are not an issue. On Windows, you can do this with Mixcraft, and I've got a couple videos on Mixcraft in the channel if you want to check those out. I don't have any on their video options, but you can go and check out their website. Basically works the same way. You just drag and drop it, and you've got a video file to look at while you record in real time with no issues. Now, do I listen to myself while I record? Do I listen through my speakers or headphones while I'm doing a voiceover? No, I don't. And the reason is I can hear myself speak without having to have any latency. So no matter how low you've got it, there's going to be some latency, and I don't want that kind of killing my ability just to speak at a normal pace. So I don't want to listen to myself while I'm doing a voiceover. So I use the meter to check and see where I'm at. As you can see here, let's see if it'll let me zoom in. Can I zoom in? Yes. Okay, now my mic is inputted here, and as you can see here on the meter, the level meter, I'm about minus 12-ish full scale. That is not LUFS. This is just a level meter, but that's where I try to keep my voiceover level on the level going into the DAW from my audio interface, and that seems to work really well. All right, guys and gals, I hope this helps somebody out. If you want to do this on Windows, you can do it with Mixcraft. If you want to do it, or Ardour also works on Mac, Windows, and Linux. It's not easy to get your hands on. A free version of Ardour on Mac or Windows. If you pay $1, you get a version of it. On Linux, it's freely available in most software centers. You can drag and drop your video file and do all of your audio just as easily as you would do your video. Now, once I'm done, I will export all of the audio. I'll take the video file and the finished audio file, put them together in a video editor, and just push, export or render or whatever it is. And that's it. Then handbrake it, make it a little bit smaller so I'm not standing here uploading something for the next 6.5 hours, and upload it to YouTube at H.265. I usually do, hardware encoding with either NVENC on my Windows or Linux machines, or with AMD on my Mac or my other Linux machine. So it's easy to do if you just learn the steps. You don't see a lot of people talking about their workflow in the audio side of things for, voiceover and YouTube videos, but this is how I do it. It's really easy. You just drag and drop and you're done. So, all right, guys and gals, I hope this helps somebody out. If it did, thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell if you want to see more videos from the Music Factory, and we'll catch you next time. Have a great day, y'all.